You're telling yourself you're being patient, but deep down, you're hoping. Here's the solution that changes everything. Patience follows a plan. Hope replaces one. If you can tell the difference in real time, you stop bleeding money and start keeping it. You've been here before. A trade is open, price moves against you, but not enough to hit your stop yet. You feel uncomfortable, but you stay in. You say, "I'm being patient," but what you're really doing is waiting without clarity. Patience has rules. Hope does not, and the market punishes that difference every single day. Patience exists before the trade. Hope shows up after something goes wrong. That's the line most traders never draw. When you plan a trade, patience means you're willing to wait for your setup, wait for confirmation, and wait for price to do what it historically does within defined conditions. Hope only appears when price is no longer doing what you expected, and you're trying to emotionally negotiate your way out of a bad situation. You feel the difference in your body. Patience feels calm, boring, almost uneventful. Hope feels tense. Time slows down. You start watching every candle. You stop following rules and start asking the market for mercy. That's not patience, that's survival mode. You've probably told yourself, if I just give it more time, it'll work. That sentence has destroyed more accounts than bad strategies ever have. Time does not fix invalid trades. Structure does. Probability does. And when those are gone, patience is no longer patience, it's denial dressed up as discipline. If this is already hitting close to home, pause right now. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who keeps confusing waiting with hoping. This distinction is everything. Here's how patience actually makes you money. Patience means you wait before you enter. You don't chase price. You don't force trades because you're bored. You wait for alignment. When you enter, patience also means you let the trade work as planned. You don't micromanage. You don't panic at normal pullbacks. You respect the structure that justified the trade in the first place. Hope, on the other hand, shows up after that structure breaks. The level fails, the momentum dies, volume disappears. But instead of exiting, you stay. Not because your plan says so, but because leaving feels worse than staying. That emotional logic is why hope loses money. You need to hear this clearly. Patience is proactive. Hope is reactive. Patience is built into your process. Hope appears when the process is gone. Think about this example. You plan a breakout trade. Your patience is shown by waiting for the breakout, waiting for retest, waiting for confirmation. That's patience. But if price breaks out, fails, comes back into the range, and you stay in saying, "I'll wait," that's hope. The trade you planned no longer exists. Another example hits even harder. You're in profit. Price stalls near your target. Patience would be following your exit plan. Hope is thinking, what if it goes further? That hope turns winners into losers. You didn't plan for what if, you planned for probability, and probability was already offering to pay you. Drop a comment if you've ever held a trade too long because you thought you were being patient. Awareness is the first step out of this trap. So how do you actually become patient instead of hopeful? The first step is defining invalidation before you ever enter a trade. You don't just know where you'll take profit. You know exactly what proves your idea wrong. A level, a structure break, a close. When that happens, patience ends and execution begins. Professionals don't stay patient in invalid trades. They exit. The second step is fixing your risk so that patience feels possible. If your position size is too large, you cannot be patient. Your emotions will hijack you. You'll watch every tick. You'll hope instead of wait. Patience requires emotional neutrality, and neutrality requires proper risk. If a loss feels threatening, you're oversized. The third step is separating patience from time. Patience is not about how long you stay in a trade. It's about staying while conditions remain valid. You can be patient for 5 minutes or 5 days. The clock doesn't matter. The conditions do. The moment conditions change, patience becomes stubbornness. The fourth step is using questions that expose hope immediately. Ask yourself, if I were flat right now, would I enter this trade? If the answer is no, you're not being patient, you're hoping. Another powerful question is, what specifically am I waiting for? If you can't answer that with a rule-based condition, you're not waiting, you're wishing. The fifth step is pre-planning exits the same way you pre-plan entries. Most traders obsess over entries and improvise exits. That's backwards. Patience requires clarity. When exits are defined, you don't need hope. You act when price reaches your level. No hesitation, no negotiation. If this framework is helping you, like the video and subscribe now. This channel exists to fix behavior, not hype strategies. Another crucial difference between hope and patience is how they feel after the trade. When you're patient and a trade loses, you feel calm. Disappointed maybe, but not angry. You followed your rules. When you hoped and a trade loses, you feel drained, frustrated, and betrayed. That emotional aftermath is your feedback. Learn to read it. You also need to understand that patience protects capital, while hope risks it. Patience keeps losses small and winners clean. Hope stretches losses and shrinks winners. Over time, that math destroys accounts quietly, not in a big blow, but in slow erosion. Professional traders don't pride themselves on patience in losing trades. They pride themselves on discipline. They are patient before and during valid trades and ruthless when trades are no longer valid. That balance is what keeps them profitable. Here's the hardest truth. Hope feels virtuous. It feels like perseverance. That's why it's so seductive. But markets don't reward virtue. They reward execution. You don't get paid for believing. You get paid for following rules. If you've made it this far, you're already doing something most traders never do. You're questioning your own behavior honestly. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment whether hope or impatience hurts you more, and share this with someone who needs to hear it before their next trade. Hope and patience will always feel similar on the surface. One is calm discipline, the other is emotional attachment. One follows a plan, the other replaces it. Now that you know the difference, you don't have to guess anymore. Patience makes you money because it respects probability. Hope loses it because it ignores reality. Choose correctly, and trading stops being a struggle and starts becoming a process you can trust.